Computer. Hi everyone, Sue Matsuki for Nightlife Exchange with another Sue's Muse. Today I have two muses, my show broads. Oh my goodness. Please welcome Leanne Borghesi and Marta Sanders. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Sue.
Hi,
Nice to see
Sue.
you. So
Hi.
the show broads are coming back with a new show called Living Out Loud at Don't Tell Mamas. What is it? Saturday, October 25th at 1 o'clock and Sunday, October 26th at 4 o'clock. Why are you
Good.
coming back after being away for a while? Is it just time, or you just hooked up
Why
again and said,
not?
"Let's
The
sing"?
world, the world needs us. We need to laugh. We need
We
to
do.
enjoy. We need to share our purpose, which is song and joy and laughter. Why not come back?
We've been singing, Sue. We've been singing out in California over the last few years. So we go out there and do it, and then we come back here and do the cabaret convention and whatever different spots here and there and out of town work.
Mhm.
So it appears that we haven't been here in New York, uh, but we have been working. It's just we
Now,
haven't
you
done
mentioned the cabaret convention. Are the show broads appearing, or are you each appearing
individual.
individually?
This year we're just doing individual. We're not
Right,
doing a duet because it's too long.
right.
Are
They
you on the
proposed
same
a
night?
duet. Yeah, yeah. The
Jeff
first
Harner,
night was
KT.
Andrea, Jeff Harner, and Andrea.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So watch out. I'll have the link for ticket sales for Cabaret Convention below, along with a direct link for ticket sales for their show at Don't Tell Mama. Now, you guys are too cool for the room sometimes, and you both have big voices. My question was, your little kids, you're singing, and your parents go, "Oh, my child's talented." Did you always have these big voices, or were you taught to belt, or is there something inherent in a voice that makes you a belter or not? Was it a personality trait? Was it a vocal quality? I'm curious because I've always admired true belters, which you both are. It's not a skill set that I have, but you just knocked everybody out of the park, Marta, when you did the MAC, when you got your board of directors MAC award. Like, you trained us all, man. So tell me a little bit about how you discovered that you both had these big voices. I'll start with
Well, I
you.
was born with it. I was born with it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I can't speak for Leanne. I believe that you're born with the voice you have. I
Right.
believe then you can develop that instrument by your training. Then the critical part of it is that you don't get in the way and that you don't strain it, you don't push it. So for a belt voice, that's the for any voice, but for a belt voice, it's particularly important. But any voice, really, a good training so that you don't hurt yourself
Yeah.
because it's got to go for longevity. And that's just it. I think that how you age depends on individuals, just like how we age in life.
Mm-hmm.
There are some
Hmm.
people that uh, what we think of is when the voice starts going and the chords get very loose and which we all
The
get the hook.
wobble. Yeah.
Yeah, the wobble. And so that I used to think that that was something um, because you had good training, because you were really good at what you did. The older I get, I don't know. I think a lot of it is luck,
Mm-hmm.
but training is everything. But also, you have to be born with it. You can't
Hmm.
learn to sing.
Leanne, do
You,
you agree with that? Were you born with it, or did you kind of start in a different realm with your voice and find that you had a big voice? How did it work for you?
I was born with my voice, yes, and I've used it in many different ways from the theater and I didn't start singing in front of people until after like high school, almost at the end. And once I started really singing, then the songs that I like to sing and what I gravitated toward were all songs that fit my size and my stature. I'm 6 feet tall. So the music that I learned to love were these big songs. And so my voice naturally fit them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a different journey for me. And if we pick this title, living out loud, we live out loud in so many ways, not just with our voices, but how we each live our lives and what we
Mm-hmm.
do with our lives. And I think the voice for me is just it's just a part of my loudness, but I enjoy tapering it, and I enjoy using it in different ways that surprise people
Well,
because
that's true. Your show is just highs and lows, and you know, both of you work in all colors of your voice. I mean, in my opinion, as a fan and a singer myself, you know, it's not just a show where you're being sung at, and you know, so and the stories, your writing is exceptional. How did you two find each other? Did you know of each other? Did someone mutually introduce you to each
Wow.
other?
Go
how
Did you
we
ahead.
sleep
find each
together?
other.
No, I'm just kidding.
We talked about it a little bit in our last year's show,
Mhm.
which was at the Triad, our holiday soiree, Fa La 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 Fabulous. I first met Marta. I met her at a Richard Skipper event, and she was
Six
sitting.
degrees of Richard Skipper.
Yeah, it was Halloween, and he had asked me to come on board, and I saw her, and she was up in the green room, and there she was sitting in. I think there was like a throne chair against the window.
Oh, was
It's
there an
all
aura
dressed
around
up.
her?
And she's sitting there like this, just smiling, looking at everyone like, who is that? And so we wrote about that and put it into our show. And I said, who you know who you reminded me of?
Your mother. Her, you know, what
Well,
can
A
I
so
say?
who
very
is
young
this?
mother, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, at that time, yeah. So
yeah.
that was well in our show we made it a joke.
Yeah.
Right,
But
right. But anyway, yeah. So we met each other there. And I watched Leanne. I was intrigued, and she'd handed me her card because she was going to be at the Triad doing her show. And the
Muse
Triad is
Music.
around the corner from where I live. And it happened to be a nice night, and I happened to be free. And I saw the card, and I thought, what the hell, let me go. And I sat and I watched somebody. I kept thinking, wait a minute, that's my act. She had the feathers and the
Bitch
glitter and
stole my act, yeah.
wait a minute, who is she? Wait a minute. So I waited until after we talked, and she said, well, why don't we do something together? And I went, okay. And so we did.
We were at the
And,
convention that year together as well.
right.
That was our first year
Well,
together.
your show, the show that I saw was fantastic. I missed Fa La 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 or whatever that one was, but I would definitely come back to see it, and I will definitely be at this show. Let me
Thanks.
just ask you quickly. I mean, Leanne, you're originally from the West Coast, and you are both saying that you're performing East and West Coast now. What made you come to New York initially? Was it just to try your hand here, singing here in New York, or had you been coming to New York and doing shows? Because I remember when you came on the scene, you kind of took us all by storm.
Yeah, I kind of busted on. I've been doing cabaret in San Francisco since 2002. And then I transferred and I went to, I think it was 2011 and 12. I went to the O'Neill and to Yale. And there I met everybody of cabaret royalty that are colleagues now. And everybody kept saying, why are you not in New York? And I just got my equity card in California. And the ability to do professional work in California is not, in San Francisco especially, is not very big. And so everything just fell into place, and been going back and forth, being bi-coastal, doing cabaret and theater in both places now for 13 years.
And Marta, you had a theater background, right?
Yeah, I was in the original Broadway production of The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Yeah, and I graduated from the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, and Paul Gavert was my voice teacher from there. That's Betty Buckley's voice teacher, which was perfect. And yeah, and I was auditioning, and I did stock, and I did all kinds of things. But I was also very interested. I did cabaret work. I started cabaret early 70s. And so, because I always wanted to sing, and I was very loud,
Hence the
belter,
name of your show.
hence the name of the show, and born with it. And I was told by actually my voice teacher, but also some agents, that I was going to hit my stride in my late 20s. And I'm going, what do I do in my early 20s? And so I would have been what they called then a soubrette, right? That was the funny sidekick. I wanted to sing. That was my main thing. I was looking at people like Shirley Bassey. I had traveled the world. I was living overseas for a while. My desire was nightclubs.
Mhm.
And I knew that I couldn't learn, I couldn't develop a style if I wasn't singing. So that was how I got into cabaret work. And that gave me a present. And that was how I met Carol Hall, who brought me into Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, because she was a big fan of mine. And when they were doing the workshop at Actors Studio, she called me and said, I have a lot of actors here that are nice, but I need to hear my music sung. So I came in for that and then stayed throughout all the way to Broadway. I was one of like 6 people that followed it through from the Actors Studio. And so then I left the show. I had a big number that was cut 3 days into previews off Broadway. I was Miss Bell. It was my sex circus. 2 blocks from the Capitol building, you get everything you want. And here's this nonsense about this whorehouse in Texas that's paying taxes and supporting the Little League and what's the big whoop. And so
can you imagine putting that play on now without anybody knowing what the play is and the oh my goodness, the backlash
right?
that
Amazing. Yeah. So it was typical of a new show. It was running 3 hours. Tommy Two never knew what to do with that number. It was baffled by it. We hired a dance team to come in. There was a huge dance number. And I was standing at the top of the stairs singing out, singing my little heart out. Anyway, when they cut that number, I'd gone on for Dolores Hall playing Jewel off Broadway, but it didn't make sense why this white girl that looked like she was one of the girls would be, and I was also one of the girls, a little confusing. Anyway, so when we got to Broadway, I was really determined to travel and sing, and I got the opportunity to do my show on the cruise ships, to do my solo show. So I started traveling and singing around the world and doing that thing of nightclubs.
Leanne, let me ask you, I mean, you have a theatrical background as well. What was like, I'm assuming, the night that Marta made her debut on Broadway, it was like, look up, oh my goodness, I'm on Broadway. What was that moment for you? What was a gig where you lifted your head up and you went, holy smokes, look where I am? Do you remember that? Were you...
I'm amazed by every opportunity. I do so many.
I love that answer.
Things. I do so many. I get the opportunity to perform sometime for thousands of people, different capacities, different communities. I think the big moments, I can scale them down, are these joyful. I call them my 5 minutes of. It's my 5 minutes of fame. The Spotlight's job is to roam around and it lands on me for those perfect 5 minutes. So I've got a bevy of those wonderful 5 minutes that are those, I want more of those 5 minutes on the grand stages, in the theaters, and the moments that really, really count, that you work 1,000 hours for, just for those 5 minutes.
Those 5 minutes, yeah.
I'm amazed every moment. I didn't venture off with, this is my dream of what I need to do. I think every time I open a door, I see the possibility for what could be there and what I want from it, and I take action to get what I want to do what I want to do.
I think that's one of my favorite answers I've ever heard on this program. Thank you. And it's kind of a lesson for all of us to just be present where we are in the moment, because it is an honor when people sit in front of us and let us sing for them, separate from all the work we do,
It gets me angry when people who don't understand what we do, who love us, who love me, are like, so are you famous yet? And I'm, what does that mean to you? Because every time I succeed, for me, it's not about that. It's about the work.
So tell me a little bit about, Living Out Loud is kind of self-explanatory, but tell me a little bit about the show. If you were going to give me a blurb that I was going to post for PR purposes, what would you each say the show is?
Well, we're still working on it. We're going to be doing it in California next week, which will be our first stab at it. We'll be also performing at the Sacramento Chamber of Commerce Rainbow Gala, where we'll be headlining there, and then we're doing the show the next night. So Living Out Loud, do you want to start?
Well, I think we have pieces that we've been doing that are the classic theater duet, female duet, that everybody loves, MAME and those kinds of things that are great fun. And we get to do those. They're perfect for us, and people just have fun It's just a fun show. And then we're going to put in those things that are in our repertoire and pull some things that I haven't done. There's one in particular I'm doing that I haven't done in, well, since the 70s. It was one of my big numbers, and it was lots of fun. A lot in the audience gets to, help me do it. And so we're pulling from our canon of music individually and together. And I'm also doing the number I'm going to do at the cabaret convention, and you're doing yours as well, right? So those have not been heard. They will just have been heard at the cabaret convention, but we're going to put them in, and so we're going to bring those as well. And that's it. It's just to have fun, to laugh.
What is the date of the cabaret convention appearance?
October 21st.
Okay, so that's going to happen right before your show. So I
Right.
guarantee you people, lots of you will go to the cabaret convention, and maybe those of you who don't know these two beautiful, wonderful singers, you're going to go, you're going to see them, and you're going to say, oh, I wish I got my ticket, and they're going to be sold out. I'm just saying, I know these two. So I think that I will have links to them singing below this interview. You can check them out now. But do make your reservations. When you reserve it, don't tell mamas. You don't really have to pay for it till the night that you show up. But make the reservation if you think you want to see them, because I guarantee you're going to see them at convention. You're going to immediately go home and try to get a ticket. And we just don't want you to miss out on seeing this wonderful show, which I can guarantee
Thank you,
will
Sue.
love.
And we chose Don't Tell Mama as an intimate venue also for Living Out Loud. I think it's a story about two friends. It's a continued story about two entertainers, two women who are living their lives out loud, and the journeys that we come and the similarities that we have as performers and friends. But the wonderful, I think, pivotal, interesting point about us is our association with time and where Marta is at in her life.
Right.
And her career we have is different from mine, but we have similarities. And so we come together on what our core values are: laughter, enjoyment, being show people and giving that, but also what we share in this is the trials and tribulations on my journey of it too, and the theatricality of it is showing parts they haven't seen, which is always the raw fun of being in an intimate venue with something that's new.
Intimate or not, and I know that both of you, you're more nightclub act, but cabaret has that intimate lyric connection thing that we love so much. So it's the best of both worlds as far as I'm concerned. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in an intimate venue, because I've only seen you both in really bigger venues where, your bigger voices are there. So I can't wait for this show. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. I know you have to dash off to go to a rehearsal. I will see you probably at convention if you can come back, if you can come out after you perform and say hello.
Yes, and Nicholas Perez will be playing for us at Don't Tell Mama, and he's also playing at convention, but he's just coming off of Buena Vista Social Club. So.
And who's your director? I know that we always like to mention the whole team. Are you using a director
on
for
this one? On this one, we've been directing ourselves. We have great consultants we work with, but for this one, we've been connecting on it, and we don't need a director for this stint.
But all the more reason why it's more intimate, because it's the two of you bringing your mutual talents together. And I love the fact that women a lot of times get accused of being so competitive against each other, and particularly, when Marta saw her act in what you do, that could have gone two different ways. But what's a beautiful thing is that you found your way to each other to share the experience, and that makes me so happy. There is a sisterhood in singing. I have it with a bunch of my friends, and we will see it in living color and in Living Out Loud at Don't Tell Mamas in October. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
See you soon.
Bye.
I'm telling you, you're going to thank me. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.